Good afternoon. Welcome to the 2020 Economic Preparation and Recession channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me. Today, I just want to talk about the empty vacancies across the United States, beginning with Manhattan. Manhattan had over 15,000 vacancies, empty apartments in August, which is a new record. And the number of vacant apartments in Manhattan climbed to a record 15,025 in August as the fallout from this pandemic continues to prompt more people to leave the city. I thought it was the high taxes, city taxes and state taxes in New York City boroughs that caused them to leave, but apparently it's also because of this pandemic that people are leaving the city and getting upstate, getting out of the city. Renters are looking to go to the outer boroughs to get more for their rental dollar if they're staying in the city, says Jonathan Miller, president of Miller Samuel. Other would-be renters in Manhattan are now the first-time buyers in the suburbs. As a result, there were 24% fewer leases signed in August than a year ago, with 166% increase in listings available to rent. So as you can see, more people are wising up, and are leaving the big cities for safer pastures, for cheaper pastures. And this year, 2020, will be 1 year to remember, as, of course, we know the 30-year mortgage rate has fallen to all-time historic lows of 2.8%, 2.86%. But we know that the crash is just around the corner. Ladies and gentlemen, when you have a 15,000 empty apartments vacancy in just 1 month, you know, and a higher cost of living in Manhattan, you know that something is wrong. As a matter of fact, as vacancies rise and rents falls, the share of apartments offered with incentives like no broker fees or 1 or 2 months free rent included, you've seen that in a lot of the advertisements that the landlords have been doing, it has grown. The amount of 1 month free rents by landlords grew in August by 60% from last year, rising from 1.2 months to 1.9 months. While all rent levels saw declines, the most significant reductions in rent were in the lower price ranges, obviously. So now we have a housing market the prices are still inflated. The average median home price in the United States is a whopping $350,000 for a single family home. That's unbelievable. And so we know that the housing market is poised for a crash. Even though we have these low mortgage rates, people cannot afford to come up with a down payment of 20% for these homes that are just overvalued. They are overvalued, and the bubble is going to pop tremendously. In Brooklyn, the median rent for a 2-bedroom apartment was $34.47. That rose 4.5% from a year ago. In Manhattan, the median rent for a 2-bedroom apartment is $4,379. That's up 7.4% from last year. So only the rich top 20% are trading up in these high-class apartments that are expensive, that are really expensive. It's not just in New York or San Francisco. It's in a lot of cities like Chicago and Houston, in Miami, in Tampa, in Jacksonville, in Dallas, in Minneapolis, St. Paul, in Des Moines, Iowa. So these home prices are continuing to rise, and affordability is going out the window. And that's going to be the next part of this crash. When this home market crashes in the first quarter of 2021 in January, it is going to just absolutely crush this economy, because what this means is that we're going to have ghost towns and more people homeless. Remember now, the forbearance and the rent eviction moratoriums end in the month of December. So as that ends, that's when the housing market is going to see a flood of foreclosures and bankruptcies by these people. The unemployment rate by the end of this year is going to be peaking at close to 15%. Not only that, but we also have these houses that are staying longer on the market. The average house staying on the market for 180 days or more has increased by 15 to 18% as of August. So houses are starting to stay on the market longer as a result of this pandemic. And the existing home sales market needs 4 million new mortgage buyers to break even this year. So we need a total of 4 million new people buying houses this year just to break even for the housing market, which is not going to happen because many people with mortgages suffered job losses due to this pandemic, and we're still early on in this recovery process, this K-shaped recovery process. So it's doubtful that the housing market will recover in 2021. As a matter of fact, it's scheduled to crash in 2021 because if people are not working and more people are living together, they're not going to be willing to spend on big ticket items like big houses or stuff of that nature. So other cities have reported huge exodus, such as Phoenix and Las Vegas, Nevada. San Francisco, Seattle has reported huge exodus from their downtown area. As a matter of fact, some of the vacation towns like Big Bear Lake and Lake Tahoe, California, have reported huge vacation. People are staying close to home. They're not taking vacations because they don't have the money. They're doing staycations where they're staying in their city and going to different various amusements and things within an hour or two drive of their home. They're not going out into and spending money in this fake economy. And so, and building has even slowed. They're not building single family homes. If you notice, these companies like Toll Brothers and Pulte Homes, they're not building single family homes. They're only building multi-story apartment complexes and condo complexes because they know that's guaranteed money. If you don't pay your rent within 3 days or 4 days, you're kicked out. Your stuff is on the lawn. If you don't pay your condo fees and all this HOA fees, the condos and seller fees, you can be taken out of that as well. So that's guaranteed money for a lot of these rich housing hedge fund conglomerates that own the same people that own the majority of these apartment complexes in the United States of America. So a single family home in America is becoming a rarity, and this is kind of paralleling to a lesser extent what's going on in China. China has a lot of these big high-rise condos where people are stacked up in Hong Kong and other places living in dense apartment high-rises, 30 stories, 100 stories high. That's what's going to happen over here, but we're not going to have the jobs to support the manufacturing, to support people, and we're going to see a lot of homeless people here. So this is going to be absolutely bonkers, and that's why it's so imperative that you get prepared, that you save your money, try to get up to a homestead or a self-sustainability. Homesteading and self-sustainability is going to be absolutely key in the next 4 years as we go through this cycle, because the housing market is going to crash, but no one's going to have any money to buy these places for $100,000 or $50,000 or pennies on the dollar, because the dollar is going to be crashing too, and that's what's going to happen. So get prepared now as best you can. If you have to get a house, try to get a new single family home or somewhere, or a homestead out in the country, away from the city noise and away from what's going to be happening in the city, so it can retain its value and actually add to its value as you make improvements on your properties. So blessings today. Thank you for joining me. Please make sure you subscribe, and I will talk to you soon tomorrow.